So, welcome everybody. This is one of the Icaros model interventions called blindfold bareback riding. And there is prep work that I do before just blindfolding my clients, of course. We work on trust, we work on closing their eyes first. And then, if they're comfortable, they can be blindfolded during a painting activity. And then we do the horses. So, this is my assistant, Kenzie, and this is Coral Sky, one of my main therapy horses, and we're going to do a little demo for you guys. So what I do is I have a mounting block. I always hold the horse, and I do this either in a round pen or a really small arena. If we're in a small arena, they'll always be on a line. And I always make sure I practice this with myself, with friends, with everything on my horse to make sure my horses are comfortable with new people being put on them, with what we're doing, with any kind of bareback riding. I don't ride any horses bareback under the age of 6. So it's always a horse that's 6 and older with no back problems, who's really comfortable. And I always want to make sure that it's good weather, good climate. So just assessing the situation and going to your comfort level. So what I do is I bring the horse out, typically in a bitless bridle or a side pull or anything you're comfortable with your horse. It can be a bit if needed, but I tend to like bitless for riders who don't really know what they're doing with their hands to save my horse's mouths. I get a mounting block and then I help my client on it while I'm holding the horse at the same time just to mitigate any problems. And as soon as they're on with the helmet, of course, I have them put the blindfold up because we don't start right away with the blindfold. And then I'm going to start. So I want you to wiggle till you feel comfortable up there. And she's going to kind of wiggle till she feels comfortable. Now, keep in mind, this is not a horse I put random people on. This is my upper level dressage horse, so she's going to be a little bit sensitive at times. The only reason we're doing this is because my other videos with the beginner horses didn't come out well because of the location. So we are doing this at my house. So bear with us. She might be a little bit uncomfortable at times, but this is perfectly fine for her. She's just highly sensitive. So Kenzie kind of wiggled until she got comfortable. Now you can see Coral's dropping her head. She's relaxing and she's actually releasing because I just told her what I thought was going on. So she's kind of releasing that and getting rid of some of the stress that might have been happening in her body. Then I'm going to have Kenzie just slowly walk. And my horses are all taught with cues, with energy cues, verbal cues. So I never have to worry with another person on my horse. So she's just sitting there. And then I want you to tell me a story. So as Kenzie starts to tell the story, what's happening is she's doing a little bit of the bilateral stimulation with her body. So her right hemisphere and her left hemisphere are activating, but she's also calming herself down. A lot of the times we get kids on the horses and they're either excited or they're really nervous. We want to get them in their relaxed nervous system. So she tells me this story. I'm also breathing nice and calmly through my body, and then I'm noticing what's happening in her body. I'm looking at her facial features. I'm looking at her arms. I'm looking at any muscle development that's going on, which would mean that she's tensing. So I'm looking at all her nonverbals, and Coral can tell too, because she'll start to want to stop if she feels off balance or something. And then Kenzie, I want you to try to match the horse's breath. I know that sounds weird, but see if you can breathe with her while she's walking. So Coral right now is breathing in her nice calm nervous system. I can see her barrel going in and out. She's also lifting up her abs. She's using her back nicely. And I also like to look for a horse whose head is lower than their withers at times, so they're nice and relaxed. And that tells me a lot about the rider. So knowing your horse will tell you a lot about what's going on in the rider right now. And she's like, it's hard. Do your best. There's no right or wrong in therapy, which is nice. Now, how does it feel to kind of match her breath and slow down a little bit? She said it makes things slow down and she feels a little bit more connected. So now I want you to see if you're okay closing your eyes for a couple strides. Just for a couple breaths, closing your eyes. And then you can open them. And then whenever you're comfortable, if you're comfortable, you can put your blindfold on. And when she blindfolds, we're going to kind of look at the horse. And in therapeutic riding like this situation, we never yell at the client, of course, but we never redirect the client either. So if she took her hands off the reins, I'm okay with that because I know I could step in and stop Coral at any time. It's not like riding lessons where we would, worry about that. So she's up there. How does it feel? What's different in your body being blindfolded? She says, I feel a lot more wobbly. Yes, balance is really hard without your eyesight. So yeah, you can hold onto the horse whatever way you're comfortable, and you can unblindfold if you get uncomfortable too. So Coral felt it and she stopped. So that's amazing. That's how connected you are with the horse, is that she felt it, she stopped. I did not stop her. So yeah, I asked her to walk on and she obliged. Good. And then I want you to try to tell me what foot is going up when. So you could say like right, left, right, left. See if you can even figure that out blindfolded. You got it. That was fast. And now I wonder if you can make her stop just with her body. I'm not going to tell her to stop. I wonder if you can use your body to get her to stop. Yes. And she even stopped square in the front. What that means is it means like she stopped in her calm mind and her emotional balanced side. Yeah. And she's licking and chewing. She's focused on you. Her ears are back. So what's different when you don't have your sight, even right now? She feels a little unsteady. Does anything calm down in your mind, or does anything change in your mind? I shouldn't give her a leading question. Yeah, so she said, I'm a little bit more nervous, but I can think a little clearly. So, like, my thoughts aren't racing as much. I'm hearing things a little bit louder and I'm feeling things more directly. So, this is a really good anxiety exercise and ADHD exercise because it calms your thoughts. And it's okay to have a little bit of nervousness as long as you're with somebody who you're bonded to, somebody who you have a protective relationship with, like a counselor. So, this is a perfect activity to do. And you can throw in whatever you want. I'm just going to bring her into me. You can unblindfold. You can add in whatever you want as a clinician to this activity. I typically do this activity after I know a client for a really long time. I do it maybe once or twice a year, if that. It's very rare I put a person on a horse. It's my kids who are just everywhere, and I really want to see the horse just give me feedback on them. And I also want to see what's going on with their body when we take one of their senses away and kind of put them in a really interesting situation. It's also really good for face your fears kiddos. So, kiddos who have a lot of phobias and fears, once they can do this, they can overcome something very safe and simple and then transfer it to other phobias and fears in their life. So, this is one of my favorite things to do with you guys. And then, same thing, you bring them back to the mounting block, you help them down if you're okay helping them down. If you have a kid who's more unstable and you have a group assistant, you can have a sidewalker just like, therapeutic riding would have. I'm perfectly comfortable doing this on my own. So, it's really up to you guys as the clinician.